Yeah, hi guys, good morning. And in today's session, we'll discuss about Git and GitHub. Okay, so let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes.
So
Yes.
today's topic will be Git and GitHub. Okay. So any idea what is Git? What is GitHub? Anyone? At least the introduction part or definition.
Git is
It
like
is a
is one
control
of
version.
version control tool.
Hmm? Okay.
Which is help us to execute Linux commands.
Mm-hmm. Arif, we are not talking about Git Bash.
Git is a version control. GitHub is a repository to store central.
It is a distributed version control tool. Okay, so Git is a distributed version control tool. So now, what do you mean by version control? What do you mean by distributed? For example, if in any project there will be a couple of team members who will be working on same set of application, right? So there might be 5 developers or 6 developers or 3 developers. So in that case, with the help of version control, we can track the changes of our source code. When we say source code, what do you mean by source code? It is used to track the changes of our source code or project. Means when different people are working on same project or same piece of code, in this case, Git will help us to track all the changes. For example, as of now, we are 30 members of team, right? So if 30 members are working on same set of application or same set of code, then how will we understand what changes Swati has
Hello.
made? Yes.
Yes, hi, Sabara. Sorry to interrupt. Screen is lagging for me.
Guys, others are also facing same issue.
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir. No, sir.
It's clear, sir.
Guys, try to disconnect and rejoin the call again. Or check the internet connectivity, I mean, to which network you are connected. Okay. So now, for any, yeah, so for any source code or any project, for example, 30 members are working, then how will we understand who made the changes? What changes Arif did? What changes Swati did? So in order to track the changes, we use a version control tool. In our case, that is Git, and Git is very popular. Okay, understood what is Git?
Yes.
Yes.
So now when we say
Yes.
distributed version control, so do we have any other ways as well? I mean, apart from distributed, we have two. Okay, one is distributed version control, and second one is centralized version control. Okay, we have two different type of version controls. One is distributed, one is centralized. This will be asked in interviews, guys. Now, what's the difference between distributed and centralized? Why are we using distributed version control? What's the benefit with the help of distributed version control? Okay, do we have any other tools as well for version control? So distributed
Where your
version
voice is
control.
lagging.
Sorry, what happened?
Yeah, it's showing poor connection. Lost you for some seconds.
Guys, check your Wi-Fi connectivity, to which Wi-Fi you guys are connected. And if your mobiles have been connected, right? So try to disconnect your mobiles to the Wi-Fi. Because my network is completely different. I mean, the router what I use, right? So this is completely different. Guys, we'll restart this again. Okay, so check your routers. We have 3 different routers. Okay, one router I will be using for myself, and there are 2 different routers. Check which router everyone is connected.
Airtel.
It's Airtel, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I see it.
So everyone is facing issue from the Airtel room. Is this okay now? Can we start?
Yes, yes,
sure.
Yes.
Okay. So we have 2 different type of version controls. One is distributed and one is centralized. So when we say distributed, the example is Git. So when we say centralized, so we have one more tool called SVN. Okay. So there are a lot of different tools in the market what we can use for version control, and most popular is Git. Okay. Now let us see the difference between distributed and centralized version control. Okay. So when we say distributed, right, so there will be one more working copy. For example, let me show you that image. Guys, can you see this? So this is centralized version control and this is distributed version control. So when we are working with centralized version control, what will happen? There will be one repository where all our source code will be stored, and system B is nothing but our local machines, means our laptops. Okay, so whenever you want to download any code or you want to fetch some details from the repository, right, then we'll try to directly download all the details from the server repository. Okay, and if you are making any changes, then the changes will be updated to the server repository. So here what is happening, we should be always connected to the server repository, means any change or if you want to download any code or if you are making any changes, then everything is updated to the server repository. Okay, there is only one copy. Whatever changes we are making, everything is being pushed to the server repository. But when it comes to distributed version control, there will be one server repository from where we will be downloading our local machine, I mean our code into our local machines, that is system A and system B. So no need to connect to the central repository. So whatever changes you are making, that can be stored in your local machine as well. Once you think everything is okay and you want to push the changes, then we are going to push the changes to the server repository, means there are multiple copies of the original data. So no need to have the connectivity. Always we are not supposed to connect to the central repository. We are working offline. But whereas in centralized, we should be always connected to the server repository. Whatever changes we are making, for example, this is my file. Okay, I have downloaded this file from server repository. Now if I'm trying to add anything, right, so if I'm trying to add anything, then this will be saved in my server repository directly, means there is no copy, there is only one original data, that's it. But whereas in distributed, this file can be stored in my local machine, means I will have one more copy of the original data. And if everything is okay and I want to push these changes, then I can push the changes to the server repository. Okay. And when it comes to distributed, right, I mean, when it comes to Git is very powerful in terms of tracking all your changes, in terms of open source. So when we talk about open source, that is free of cost. Okay. And also it will work very fastly. Means the response time while using Git is very fast. It can help us to easily move our code from one location to another location. Okay, understood what the difference between distributed and centralized one? In centralized one, we have only one central server. There is no copy. Whatever changes we are making, that will be stored in the central repository only. But when it comes to distributed, we have multiple copies. That's the only difference between distributed and centralized distribution servers. Okay, so now we understood that we are using Git to store our, to check the changes of our code. Now, what do you mean by source code? What code actually we are checking? Who is providing the source code to us? For example, let me create one directory. For example, hiring app. Okay, this is my project. I'm a developer. Okay, for example, I'm a developer. This is my project. So what I will do, I will try to store some code in some file. For example, this one. Okay, new file. This is my Docker file. For example, name of the file is Docker file. Okay, I'm trying to write some code. This is my code. Okay, once done, what I will do, this is stored in my project. So if you see this, here we have one set of configuration file, I can say. Okay, so similarly, there might be some files related to your HTML pages, means your application images, your HTML pages. Okay, your source code, your programming language, whatever you have used by using either Python or by using .NET, by using Java, developers has created some code related to your application. So all this code, where it is saved, it is saved in my local machine, right? So this is saved in my local machine. For example, in my team, we have 5 members and all the 5 developers are working on the same application. Okay, all the 5 developers are working on the same application. So everyone has different set of work what they need to complete. So now if I want to share this particular repository, if I want to share this repository to the developer number 2, so how I can share? If I want to share my repository, so what are the different ways how I can share this code with him? One way is I can email all the code, right? I can copy all the email. I can attach this in the attachments of my email and I can send to the developer number 2. Or else I can tar this particular directory and I can SCB to his server. Or else I can go to Slack and I can attach and I can share. Means anything is possible. But here what will happen? Every time if they want the code, right, they need to reach out to us. Means I should be available for them. So we don't want someone should be always pinging us and asking to share the code, no. So that's where we use the central repository. GitHub come into the picture. GitHub is a central repository or source code management tool to store the source code. Okay, so whatever source code means any programming language, any files, whether it is Docker file, Jenkins file or Kubernetes files or something related to our HTML pages or our images related to the application. So if you want to store that code, we use GitHub as our central repository. Okay, Git is used for the version control and GitHub is the place where we keep all our source code. We don't want to share the code via emails or Slack, or I don't want everyone to be pinging me and asking me to share the code. No, there should be one place from where everyone can pull the code and they can start working. There should be no dependencies. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, so we have our source code, this Docker file. Now I want to push this. I mean, I want to share this with XYZ developer, different team members. Then I will push them. I will push my code into the central repository. That is GitHub. So do we have any other tools similar to GitHub? Any other central repositories? Yes, always there will be alternate options. So we have such example called GitLab, we have Bitbucket, and we have GitLab, Bitbucket, and we have one more tool. Okay, so these are the different examples or different tools where we can store our GitHub, I mean central code or our source code. Okay, and the most popular is GitHub. So Git is different, GitHub is different, and Git Bash what we are using is also different. Only because the name is Git doesn't mean that these three belongs to the same company. No. Okay, their purposes are different. Git is version control, GitHub is central repository, and Git Bash is just a software or a tool to execute some Linux commands. Okay, so now first we let us install Git in our local machines. Means if you want to perform or if you want to track all the changes, then we need to have our Git installed. Okay, so this is my project. Now I want to track the changes of this project. So let me open this Git Bash here. Okay, first we need to install. So we have one command called git -version. If I'll see this, here we can see Git version 2.34.1 Windows.1 is been already installed. Even this is available in your laptops. The moment we have installed Git Bash in our machines, right? So Git is also installed by default. Means we are already having our Git configured in our machines. No need to install it separately. If it is not available, then what we can do? We can find this. Download Git for Windows. If you open this, then here you can find the packages. Which version of Git do you want? Whether it is for 32-bit machine or 64-bit machine. Okay. So and when it comes to Linux or Ubuntu, we can use yum install git. When it comes to Linux, we can use apt install git, and git will be installed in our machines. If you want to cross check, then you can use git -version. Okay, so as we said, so this is my local machine. Local PC, and this is something I have configured one application. Local PC, and here I'm trying to install one app, hiring app. This is my source code, and in this particular app, what we have did, we have created some files called AB. We have two different files, one is A and one is B. Okay, so I am working from India. And developer 01 means I am one developer from the team. This is mostly used by the development teams, guys. Okay, so I am working from India, so I have configured my application and I have written some piece of code. There are two text documents or two functions in my application, A and B. Okay, now instead of storing all the source code in my local machine, what I will do, I will push my source code to the central repository. Okay, and this is central repository. Okay, in order to track the changes of my project hiring app, what we'll do, we'll configure Git in my local machine, means here. Okay, Git is helping me to track the changes, and GitHub is helping me to store all my files in the central place. Okay, so what I will do, I have completed my task. I mean, I was working from morning 9 to evening 6. I have completed my work. So once done, what I will do, I will push all the changes to the central repository. Okay, so what I have did, I have pushed all my changes to the central repository. Now, some other developer, he is from USA. US developer 02 in my project. Okay, so now what he want to do, he want to again continue the work. Means we want to continue working on that application. Means we are from same team, we are working on same project. So what he will do, instead of connecting with me, what he will do, he will just simply come to the central repository and he will pull all the changes. What he has did, instead of asking me or emailing or texting me, so he directly went to this central repository and he tried to pull all the code. So once he executed pull command, what will happen? All the code will be stored in his local machine now. Hiring app. And then how many files do we have? A, B, 2 files. And this US developer, he has started, he continued to work and he has created one more file called C. Now what he will do, before logging off from the work or after adding some changes, what he will do, he will again try to push all the changes to the central repository. Okay, and for example, if we have one more developer, he is working from Canada region, for example. So what he will do, he will again come to this repository and he will try to pull all the changes. So the moment we'll execute pull command, what will happen? He will be also downloading the app, hiring app, and he can see 3 files A, B, C. Okay, so what he will do, if he is continuing the work, he will try to add some new files, for example DE. Okay, and once done with his work, then again he will store all the code in the central repository. Means he is trying to push all the code. Now again, when India guy is trying to log in the morning, so what he will do, he will again download the updated code. Means he will again update his code. He will again try to pull. And he will start working on the changes. So that's how we can collaborate between multiple developers. Means on same project, different people are working, and if you have any central repository, then it will be very easy for everyone to maintain the, there will be only one place. Means all the changes will be stored in the central repository. Means there is only one place where we are storing all our files. And where is our Git? Yeah.
Sir, if I want to back the old file, means from the Indian server, can we take it back again? Means without the modifications from the central repository.
So what will happen is, if suppose you don't want to have A, B, C, D, E, okay, you just want to have A, B, C. So in that case, we have set of different commands which will help us to revert the changes. Okay, and also we can configure different branches as well. There you can have your copy of your code. Means if you want to back our code, or if you want to make some changes, or if you want to store your code separately, that is possible. All that features are available. That is possible, Swati.
Also,
Okay.
somewhere,
Okay,
is
sir.
it possible that 3 of the developers can access the code at one time?
Yeah, they can do that as well.
All right.
Multiple members can copy, or multiple members can clone the code from central repository. Okay, so what is happening with the help of Git? Where is Git configured? That is in the local machine. So Git will track, okay, AB has been configured by the Indian developer. So Git will track the changes of Indian developer, and C has been added by the US developer. Again, whenever we open the repository, we can understand on which particular time this has been modified, what changes he has added, okay, and what was the latest commit. I mean, what was the latest change in the source code, and who did the changes. So everything is possible to track with the help of Git, and with the help of central repository, we'll have a single destination or single location, I can say. Okay, so now in our local machine, we can find Git is already available. Okay, if you do ls, I can find one file, Docker file. Now I want my Git to track these changes. I want my Git to track the changes. So how can I check which changes are being tracked? For example, Git status. We have one command called Git status. So what this command will do? This command will help us to check the changes in your repository. Means this is my repository, right? So in this particular repository, what changes has been implemented? If you want to see that, then we should execute Git status. If I'll hit enter, we can see not a Git repository or any of the parent directories .git. Why? Git is installed, but still this is not working. Git is installed, that doesn't mean that Git will automatically start tracking. No, we should initialize Git, means we should tell Git that start tracking this particular directory or project. If it is installed, then it doesn't mean that it will track your complete laptop. No, we should specify where on which particular project you want to track. In this case, I will use a command called git init. Git is the command, okay, and init is the initialization. What will happen? The moment if I'll execute this, it will understand, okay, I need to track this hiring app directory. Okay, and here you can see something called .git. So what is this .git? Let us see. Okay, let me remove this. I will not execute that as of now. Let us see if we have any hidden files. Do we have any hidden files as of now? No, right? So the moment I'll execute git init and hit enter, initialized empty Git repository. See users 0075 desktop hiring app.git means the moment I have executed git initialize command, what happened? It has created one directory called .git. If I'll do, and also you can see this change. See, now it is printing as master. What is this master? We'll talk about this later point of time. Okay. So for now, if I'll do ls-a, here we can see one empty directory. One new directory has been created. Means the moment I will execute git initialize, what will happen? It will create one directory called .git, and this directory will have all the configurations related to our GitHub, our Git tool. Which particular project should be tracked? What thing should be tracked? What is the branch? Who is the master? Who is the head? What is the reference? What is the tail? So all the changes or anything, means any configuration related details are stored in this repository. So if I'll get inside this repository .git, and if I'll do ll, you can see there are different files configured inside this directory. So these are configuration related files. I mean, we are not worried about this. Git is trying to use these configurations and helping us to track the changes. Okay, so .git directory is very important. This directory consists of the configurations. That's how Git is working. Without this directory, Git will not work. Okay, so now if I'll go one step back, let me clear my screen. And if I'll do ls or ls-fna, we can see .git. Okay, now if I'll execute git status again, hit enter. See, now this time we can see some pop-up. I mean, we can see some messages over here. So on branch master, no commit set, untracked files. There is something in red color, that is Docker file. Okay, nothing added to commit, but untracked files present. Use git add to track. So what is happening? Now our Git is successfully tracking all the changes. For example, let me create one more file, touch A. Okay, and if I'll do git status, You can see A is been also tracked. So Git is tracking all the changes now. Okay. For example, let me clear the screen. ls-a. For example, by any chance you have deleted this particular directory. Now the moment this directory has been deleted, we can see master has been disabled, and if I'll do git status, again same error. So without this directory, Git will not work. If you want to get this directory, then we should initialize, means we should tell Git that this is our project or this is my directory, which you should track. Understood? Okay, now let me initialize this again. Git init. Okay, now it has been initialized. We can see master. If I do git status, I can see some messages as well, means something is working. Okay, so now the first command what we are going to execute is git config. Git config --- list. So what will happen? This will help us to get the complete details, means for example, here you can see username, user email, okay, and some default details. But I am worried about these two details only, username and user email. So what will happen? If you use git config --- list, then it will help you to get all the details. I mean, what is your username? What is your email ID? Okay. So this is mandatory, guys. Without configuring username and email ID, we cannot push the changes. Means you cannot push the changes from local to central repository. That is not possible. And this is only one-time activity. This is one-time activity, means we are not supposed to do it every time. Even we don't do that every time. Okay, this is only for one-time activity. Now, okay, my laptop is, I mean, I have already used Git, so this is configured. But what about you? This is not available in your machines, right? So in order to configure that, we have the command called git config, and then --- username, git config. Let me check.
Git config --- global.
---
Global.
right, global. Global, and then user dot name equal to, for example, my name. Now I'm configuring, guys. Let me hit enter. Valid key. I think --- Let me check this command, guys. Git config --- global --- user dot name. Here we have set of commands. Okay. So global user dot name. Okay, no need to add equal to. Hit enter. Need to add space. What is happening?
I think you added extra --- to the
Username.
User dot name and then my name. Okay, so once done, if you want to check git config --- list, then here we can see username has been added, and similar command to configure email as well. Okay, so in order to configure email, user dot email, and then your mail ID. For example, this is my mail ID. So now what happened? It has successfully configured the username as well as the email ID. Now Git will understand. Okay, so which user is making the changes? Whether this is Momo Saber or someone else, based upon this configuration, username and email configurations. Okay. So now we have two files, and if I'll execute git status, here we can see something called untracked area or untracked files. And I can see two different files, A and Docker file. Now what I want to do is, Git is tracking, okay. Now I want to push the changes to central repository. Means this is in my local machine, right? So now I want to push this to my central repository. So in order to push this to central repository, first we need to move these files from untracking area to tracking area. Means tracking area to tracking area. Okay, so how can we do that? With the help of command called, here we can see guys, it will display all the commands. Okay, always try to read the output. Okay, git add and then which file you want to track. We have two different files, right? So whether you want to add two files or only one file. So in my case, I want to add two files. Okay, what I will do, file name and then another file name and hit enter. Now if I do git status, we can see this has been changed into green color, means from untracking to this has been moved to tracking area. Understood? For example, touch B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Okay, how many files do we have? We have some 8 to 9 files, right? So if I do git status, we can see these two files are being already added to the tracking area and these files are not added to tracking area. And it is asking us to first add these files. Okay, so how to add? By using command called
Git add
git add and then
star.
Star will not work here. Okay, for example, file names, right? B, C, D. So if suppose we have 100 files, then you will be writing all the 100 files name A, B, C, D, and all. No, right? So it is not possible. Means we can write that. But what if we have 1000 files? So what we can use is, yes. So if we have couple of different files, or if you have 10 files, 2 files, 3 files, and if you want to move all the files to the tracking area, then you can use dot. Dot means all. Hit enter. So now if I do git status, it has considered all the files and moved all the files to the tracking area. Okay, understood how these files are been getting moved with the help of git add command. Git status is used to check the status of your repository, what changes you have made, how many files are available, and git add is to add your file to the tracking area, from untracking area to tracking area. And then for example, these files, now we can see something called no commit set. No commit set. This is on the branch called master, means this name. Whatever name here we are able to see master, it is also tracking the same. So now Git is asking us to commit the changes, means commit the changes in your local machine first. So for that purpose, what we can do, we can use the command called git commit command. Git commit command, what will happen? It will store a copy in your machine, means it will commit all your changes. Whatever changes you have did, it will be tracked or it will be committed. By using command called git commit -m, and then for example, what do you mean by -m? We have this command, guys.
And a branch name.
Yeah, branch name. Okay, git commit -m. This is nothing but -m means message. What message you want to configure to this commit? And then we can use origin. So what is origin? We'll discuss about origin in tomorrow's session. Okay. So for now, this is our command. And -m means message, means we should always try to add some relevant messages. So what will happen if someone is trying to see our code, right? Then he will understand, okay, what changes I have did, what are the different things we have added. So always try to put some relevant messages that will help others to understand. Even that will help you to understand the changes in your file. Okay, git commit -m and then added couple of files. Okay, and then Okay, so I have removed this origin because no origin has been specified. Okay, so we have the command called git commit -m and then the commit message, this one. And here we can see 14 files changed, 8 insertions. Okay, and these are the different files. Now if I'll do git status, now we can see on branch master nothing to commit, working tree clean, means whatever changes there were available in your laptop, everything has been committed. Now there are no new files which are in the untracking area or tracking area. Okay, so once we have committed this, what happened? Everything is clear now, means we are ready to push the code from the local server to the central repository. Okay, so now the moment I have executed git commit command, we can see something got printed over here. Right? Can you guys see this?
Yes, sir.
There is some number over there. So what is that number? That is the commit number or commit ID. So what will happen for every commit? Means just now Swati asked that can we revert the changes? Yes, that is possible if you know the commit ID. Okay, you can make the changes or you can revert the changes with the help of commit ID. Okay, so can we remember the commit ID each and every time, or should we note down this commit ID? Is that possible for us? No, right? So we might again want to change after 1 week, then I cannot save this anywhere. So in that case, what we can use, we have one command called git log, hit enter. Now we can see the commit ID over here. Git log command, what it will do, it will print all the logs, means whatever changes you have did to your directory, everything is stored in git log. So this is the commit ID. See, commit ID is very long, but we'll always try to use 4 or 5 starting words or numeric or alphabetic. Okay, and you can see Mohammad Saber is the author, and this is his mail ID. And Monday, October 16th, 11:57, 28 seconds, he has added some changes. And here you can see added couple of files, means this was my commit message. Understood how it is tracking? So from where it got this name? Guys, from where it got that name?
User. From user ID.
From the
I mean,
user
yes.
name. From where it got the email? From that configurations. Okay, and this is nothing but our commit messages. Okay, so if you want to see all the changes, or if you want to check what are the different commits happened on the repository, then you can execute the command called git log. Okay, so now, okay, so we have got the changes, everything has been done. For example, I am trying to create one more file, touch Z. Now if I do git status, again we can see Z is in the untracking area. Now again I can repeat, means in order to add this file, first I should use git add Z and then git commit -m, added Z to the project. If we'll do git log, then we can see there are 2 different commits. Commit 260, 260, see 260. Okay, and this was our earlier commit. So commit IDs will get generated. For every commit, there will be one commit ID generated, and this is very unique one. It will be unique one. Okay, guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
So,
Now our task is to move all the changes. Let me clear this screen. Means I want all these changes or all these files to be stored in the central repository. Currently everything is in my local machine only, right? So if someone asks me to share this code, what I can do? I cannot copy, attach files, Slack, email, nothing, right? So we can do that, but that is not the best practice. I want a single point of destination from where everyone can clone and start working. So in this
GitHub.
case, we should use which one? We should have GitHub. So let us move to GitHub now. GitHub.com. Okay, guys, try to create your user in GitHub. So what will happen is, I mean, this is my account and this is my username. My username is BetaBeans. Okay, so this is very easy, I mean, in terms of configuration, right? So you can always use, I mean, you just need to enter your email ID and what password you want to add and your name and details. That's it. Similar to our Facebook creation. Okay, so try to create your account. Now, okay, I have got my account as well. I know that, okay, this is my github.com and BetaBeans is my ID and this is my dashboard. Means this is how it will look. In your case, you might not see anything on the left panel because that will be a brand new account, right? So now I want all the changes to my central repository. How can we do that? For that purpose, we have one command called git push command. Okay, if I hit enter, let us see what will happen. Okay, no configured push destination. Either specify the URL or git remote add name and URL and then push using the remote name git push name. Means we are trying to push this, but on which particular location? It's something like we are trying to write any letter and we don't know the address. So where it will go? So we need to specify the destination. Okay, this code should be stored in XYZ repository. So for that purpose, I need to create one repository and I should add that address over here by using this command. So what will happen then? It will know, okay, so this is the address and this is where I need to go and store. Okay, so how to create repository? You can either use this option new or else you can use this one new repository. Means this is my central repository account. Again, in this account, I will have different repositories. Here you can see ticket horizon, errors, hiring app, Docker Hub. So we can have multiple repositories. So let me try to create new and then name. For example, ticket horizon 06. So this is my repository name. And who is the owner? Owner is BetaBeans. Now description. What description? For example, testing or else first commit. Okay, and then we have public and private. In general, what do you mean by public? Anyone can access. If your Facebook profile is public, what will happen? Anyone can see your details and everything. If it is private, then it will be accessed for a limited people. Whoever you want to access, they can only access your project. Okay, so in offices, what will happen? It will be a private repository always your source code will be in private only. For now, let us use public. Okay, so public, and here we can see something called readme. I don't want to enable this option. I don't want any options to be enabled. Let me just click on create repository. So what I have did, I have just added the name and I have selected the description. This is also optional, guys, and this is public, and click on create repo. Now here you can see, okay, one repository has been created. See, take a horizon 06. So anyone can access this project. If you have the GitHub account, then yes, you can access my project. Okay, across the globe. Means anyone from US, Canada, if they want to try to access my code, then they can do this because this is a public repository. Remember, guys, if it is a private, then it is only accessible to limited people. Whoever we want to add, we can add, and that will be access to the limited people. Okay. Now here it will see. Yes. Sorry. Did someone ask something? Okay. Now here you can see. This is the URL which has been generated. Means this is your address. This is your destination. Okay, copy. Let me paste on my notepad. Okay, so this is my destination. See, if you see this is the website, and this is my username, and this is my project name, and this is the .git extension. This is the destination. With the help of this destination, we can tell all our source code to be stored on this particular location. Means go to that address. Okay. So now what we can do is, so here also we can see some commands, say git init, git add, git commit, git branch, git remote, add origin. And here you can see two things, HTTPS, SSH. Means there are two different URLs. One is HTTPS URL and one is SSH URL. So which URL should we use? Whether should we use HTTPS or SSH? What is the difference? There will be difference. HTTPS means which port number? Port number 443. SSH means we have did SSH to our servers, right? Port number 22. So always use SSH URL only. What will happen is, if you use HTTPS, right? So there will be some authentication issues. Means you need to add your username and password every time. But when we use SSH, what will happen? No need to add any username and password, because this will work based upon our SSH configuration. I mean, we have created one SSH keygen, right, for passwordless authentication. So we need to enable that. That's it. Okay. Now we will try to use this SSH URL. Okay, and we have one command called git remote add origin. So what this command will do? This command basically it will add the address. Means it will add the destination. Okay. So before doing that, if I'll do git remote -v, we can see some addresses over here. Means if any address has been configured or not, if you want to check, then you can use this command. Okay. Now we have this command called git remote add origin, and this is my SSH URL, and hit enter. Now if I do git remote -v, then we can see the URL has been added. Means there is one destination. Now this account knows where all the source code should be stored. Okay. Let me clear this. Let me try to do the git remote -v. Then we can see all the details related to our addresses. Okay. Now then we have the command called git push -u origin master. Or else we can use the command called git push as well. Anything is okay. But what will happen? -u origin master. What will happen? This command will help us to understand to which branch we are trying to push. Means whether it is a master branch or not. Okay. Now what we can do? We can execute the command called git push. But before pushing, we need to have the connectivity. Means from my machine to that repository. Okay. For example, let me just give me a second, guys. Let me delete the existing configuration. Okay. Now we don't have any configuration. Means this is also a kind of brand new repository. We don't have any access. Okay. Here you can see this Techie Horizon 06. Okay. So this was the repository what I have created. Now if I'm trying to push my changes, I can execute the command called git push, hit enter. What happened? The current branch master has no upstream. If a new origin master. Let us see what happened. Okay, so I'm using the command called git push -u origin and master. So what is origin? We'll discuss about that. Okay, and what is master? That is a branch. Okay, so the moment I have executed this command, what should happen? It should store all my code to the central repository. But here we can see something called permission denied. This will be your case when you are trying to push the changes. Why it is denying the permission? Because of the authentication. Means we should provide the authentication. So how to provide the authentication? First we need to generate one SSH key. So how to generate SSH key?
SSH-keygen.
SSH-keygen. Hit enter. Then we can see something is being generated at this particular location. Let me just copy this address. Hit enter. Yes. enter, enter. That's it, right? So one key has been generated, public key, right? So let me cat this and paste this. Okay. So this is my key. Let me copy this and make sure that I am not adding any spaces. Okay. So once we have got our public key, what I will do, I will go to my GitHub account. Okay. So this is my GitHub account, and let me go to the settings. And if I scroll down here, we can find something called SSH and GPG keys. If I click here, we can find something called SSH keys. If I click on new SSH key, then you can add, for example, my laptop. Okay, so this is just a title, guys. We can add anything, and this is my key gen, what I have copied. Make sure you are not adding any spaces. Okay, click on add SSH key. Then what happened? It is asking for some authentication code. This is MFA. This will be not asked in your case. Let me add the key gen. 2 3 6 3 5. Okay, so once done, you can see you have successfully added the key my laptop. So what will happen now? What we have did, we have said to Git that this is the laptop or this is the trusted source who can push the code to this particular account, and the authentication will be happening based upon the SSH key. No need to add username and password each and every time. It will always check for the SSH key, and it will make sure that okay, this is the trusted source, means this is the trusted laptop. Okay, I can allow the code to the central repository. That's what we have did. Okay, so now let me go to my repository again, home. This is my repository, what I have created just now. Sorry, not this one. 06, where is 06 techie? Yeah, this one. Okay, so as of now we don't have any code, right? So now let me try to push. Push -u origin master. So now what will happen? See, now it is trying to push the files to my central repository. See, 100% batch master set 100%, 541 bytes. Okay, now if you go to your central repository and if you refresh this page, then you can see all the files, A, B, C, D, Docker file, everything has been added. And here you can see this is nothing but our commit messages. If you remember, we have added two commit messages. One is added, one is added Z. Okay, and then here you can see something 26DC. This is nothing but our commit ID, whatever we have added. And you can see the username called betawins. Why? Because that email ID what I have added to this configuration, and the account has been created on the same email ID. That's the reason it is trying to track my user ID. Okay. So here you can see two different commits. What are the different changes we have added? What are the different files? If you open this Docker file, then you can see this is what we have added. Right? Understood how to push the code from the local to central repository?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so now we have understood how can we store all the source code in my central repository. For example, you guys are from my team, what I will do, and you are asking to share the repository URL so that you can try to download the code. What I can do, I can just go to this code and I can find this URL, HTTP or SSH, any URL is okay. So let me copy this, and what I will do, I'll just paste in the personal chat or anywhere. Okay, so hit enter. Now if you try to access this, click on this, then you can access the code. See, now everyone is able to access this code, means there is no dependencies. Understood? For example, now I have added couple of more files, means I'm still working on my project, or else what I will do, I don't want to have this file, means I want to delete this file. So what I will do, I will do rm and then docker file. Now what happened? This file has been deleted. So where this file has been deleted? Where this file has been deleted, guys?
In your
Local.
local.
in local, right? So these changes will not be reflected on the GitHub. Here we can see Docker file. Because we have different copies. That's where we have called it as distributed. We have couple of different copies. One copy is on the central server, one copy is in our local machine.
Okay, but
But
what if I push it again?
yeah,
Will it be
yeah.
deleted?
I'm coming over there only. So what will happen is I have deleted in my local. Now, if I do git status, then git will track that someone has deleted the changes, right? So this is my updated code, guys. So what I will do now, I want to update these changes. Means I want to add these changes. Git add dot, and then git commit -m commit message deleted Docker file. Now if I do git push -new origin master, what will happen? This will try to update your central repository. Means your code was in local only. Now I am trying to push all my changes and hit enter. What will happen? It will delete. See, something happened. Means we can see some changes has been pushed. Now if I do refresh, here see deleted Docker file. This is my commit message. This is my commit ID. Just now we have did this 3 commits. Now if you see this, do we have the Docker file? No, right? Do we have this Docker file, guys? Can you see this? Docker file has been updated. So whatever changes you are making in local, that will not be reflected unless and until you have pushed the changes. If you do push, then that will be deleted. Okay. For example, we are working, I mean, we have 30 members of team, right? So what Tajuddin has did, Tajuddin made the changes on the GitHub repository only, direct changes on the repository. This is not the best approach, but still he didn't listen to anyone and he made the changes on the central repository only. For example, see, how can we do that? Add file, create new file. File name is Tajuddin. Okay, what he has did, created file on GitHub repository. Okay, and then he's trying to commit the changes, commit changes. What should be the commit message? File on central repo. Okay, click on commit messages. So what happened now? One more file has been added. Where is my file? Let me refresh. See, we can see one more file, Tajuddin, has been added. Do we have that file in my local machine? Do we have that file in local? No, right? Because these changes, whatever Tajuddin has did, I am not aware of the changes. Means I haven't checked that. So now what I am trying to do, I am trying to add some more files to my application. Means I am trying to add one file called abc git add dot git commit -m and then added a file abc. Okay, now if you'll see this, we have one more file called abc. Tajuddin is still not available in my local laptop because I'm not aware of the changes what he has did on the central repository. And I'm still working on my code. I'm trying to add some changes, committed the changes. Now I'm trying to push the changes. What will happen now?
The Tajuddin file will delete it.
Let us see what will happen. Okay, so git push -new origin master. Here we have one file called abc. In central repository, we have one more file called Tajuddin. Okay, hit enter. What will happen? See, your push has been failed. If you see this error rejected, failed to push some references to this particular project. Updates were rejected because the remote contains work that you do not have locally. This is usually caused by another repository pushing to the same reference. You may want to first integrate the remote changes. Use this command git pull before pushing again. Means what is happening? Our git is smart enough to understand, okay, someone has made the changes which is not available in my local machine, and it will not allow me to push the changes, or else what will happen? As Obes said, this file should get deleted. If it have been accepted, then this file will get deleted. but Git will not do that. So Git will always check for the synchronization, means your local machine and your central repository should be always same. If there is any change, then you cannot push the changes. It will throw the error. So now what I can do?
First, we need to update like
Bring that
the
file to our local machine and we made some changes. Again we commit them. Then
Right.
we can
Right. So first we need to get that file in our local machine. Commit anyway, I have did the commit. The only thing left is I want to get that file in my local machine. So how can I get that file? We have seen that we can send
Using
the
pull.
changes. Yeah, we can send the changes from local to central. Now it's time for us to understand from the central to local by using git pull command. So what will happen if I'll do git pull? It will try to pull the changes. Say git pull. One file change, that is Tajuddin. If I'll do ls, we can see Tajuddin is available in my local machine. Okay, so how we were able to do that? Because of git pull command. ABC is still available. Now if I'll do git push -u origin master, then the changes will be pushed to the central repository because our local and central is same. It is in synchronizing. Okay, now if I'll do ls refresh, we can see ABC is available, Tajuddin is also available. So any changes on the central repository is also okay, but that is not recommended. Okay, so what we have did, we have added some sub files. I mean, we were able to successfully pull the changes, right? So do we have any other commands in order to download my code from the central to local? Do we have any other commands? Yes, we do have some commands called git clone. What we have used is git pull, and we have one more command called git fetch. We have 3 different commands. This is very important, guys. This will be asked in interviews. What is the difference between pull and fetch? Okay, so now let us see the difference between these 3 commands. So what will happen if I use git clone? Okay, git clone and then the repository, means this one. This is my project, right? I want to download the code from my central to local. I can use this and I can paste the URL. So git clone is the command which will help us to download the source code from the central repository to the local machine and hit enter. And if I'll do ls, we can see something happened, right? Now if I'll do ls, we can see one directory has been created. This directory name is similar to our project name, right? So if I'll get inside this directory ls, we can see all the files a b c c d and all. So what is happening? Git clone command can be used to download the complete repository. Means if you don't have this copy, I mean if you don't have this directory initially, then I can use git clone command. Git clone command will help me to get the complete details, I mean the complete project. Okay, and git pull command, we have executed git pull. What happened? It has just downloaded this particular file only for us. Whatever was not available, it has just downloaded the updated changes.
It just fills the empty space.
Not kind of empty space, but it will just try to pull the updated changes.
Right.
Okay, so clone is used to download the complete project. Pull is used to only get the updated changes. Whatever changes are available, which are not available in your local machine, can be downloaded with the help of git pull. Okay, now what will happen every time if I use git clone? What will happen? Is this something which is not allowed? No, right? We can use git clone as well, but what will happen is For example, let me remove this. For example,
It will take more storage.
yeah, right. Okay, this is my project. This is my app. Okay, and this is of, for example, 5 GB. Okay, now I'm trying to download this in my local machine. This is my local PC. If I'm trying to execute git clone, what will happen? Git clone for the first time. This is used only for the first time, guys. So if I'll use git clone for the first time, what will happen? This will download all the 5 GB of files. Okay. For example, someone has added some changes of 100 MB. Some new changes of 100 MB has been updated. So now what will happen? Again, if I try to use git clone, again what will happen? It will try to download
5 GB plus 100 MB.
Yeah, so 5 GB plus 100 MB. We are wasting our memory, our space, as well as it will take some time to download 5 GB of data. Yes or no? So we are just wasting our internet, our space, everything. Okay, so what we can do? We can use the command called git pull. If I'll use git pull, what it will do? It will just download the 100 MB changes. Means whatever the changes are available, which are not in my local. MB. Only the 100 MB will be downloaded. Means only the latest changes will be downloaded with the help of git pull command. Okay. What is happening with the help of git clone? Git clone will download all the changes. Means whatever is available, it will download everything. What will happen if I use git pull? Only the updated code. Understood? So now we have this
Yes, sir.
project. Okay, so we have this project, right? So for example, assume that this is on my desktop. For example, assume that this has been deleted. So let me delete this. Okay, so we have what we have did. We have deleted our project, right? Empty recycle bin. Okay, our project has been deleted. Now, how can I download that? Can I use git pull or should I use git clone? Which command should I use to download
Git
the?
Clone
clone.
only.
Git clone.
Git clone.
Let us see what will happen. Git pull,
Git fetch.
and then copy this URL and then paste and hit enter. Not a Git repository. So pull will not work for the first time. Pull will only work if you already have any data related to your repository. So you should use only git clone to download the project. Now it is time to download. See, once after downloading this, and if you are going to enter into this, what was our project name? Take a horizon, right? Take a iPhone horizon. Okay, now you have these files. Now if any file has been added, now you can use git pull. Okay, so this is how we can use git clone and git pull commands. Understood? Now we have one more command called git fetch. Let us talk about git fetch in tomorrow's session. Okay, not now.
Sabir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
You deleted the Docker file. How can we regain that Docker file again?
Yes, we can get the Docker file again. By the way, who has this? Okay. So what we can do is, for example, we have one command called git revert. With the help of git revert, we can revert the changes. Git revert and then commit underscore id. So generally this command will be git revert and then commit id. Now how can I know the commit id? How to know the commit IDs first? Here if you'll see, we don't have the Docker file, right? Yes, git log -2 or -3 or -4, any parameters means it will help us to get only the 4 logs. Top 4 logs will be printed. Okay. If you use git log, what will happen? It will print all the logs. If you want only to see the top 4 logs, then you can use git log -4 parameter. Now here you can see this deleted Docker file. Okay, this is my commit ID, right? So what I can do, I can just copy this initial 4 and we can use the command called git revert and then paste the commit ID. So what I am trying to do is we are trying to go to the previous commit, previous copy. Okay, hit enter. So it is asking for some page. I mean, this is nothing but the commit messages. Okay, I don't want to make any changes. I'm just simply saving this. Now if I do ls, now you can see Docker file has been available. This is how you can go back to the previous changes or previous comments. Even Swati was asking about this.
Yeah, thank you, Sabir. Thank you.
Okay, so we have the command called git revert, which will help us to go to the previous changes. For example, now if I do git status, do we have any updates here? No, everything has been committed. So let me try to create one file called alphabet. My file name is alphabet. Now if I do git status, here we can see it is in the untracking area. So now what we should do, we should move this file to the tracking area. How? By using git add command. Okay, clear the screen. Git status, we can see this file has been moved to tracking area. Now for example, you want to move this back to the untracking area. Still a lot of changes are pending. I don't want this to be committed now. I want to move this back to the untracking area. For that we have the command called git reset. Hit enter. Now if I do git status, what will happen? This is moved to the untracking area again. So we have two commands. One is git reset, which is used to move the file from the tracking area to untracking area. And we have one command called git revert, which will help us to revert the changes. Okay. Guys, someone is on. If you have anything, let me know, or let's go on mute.
If I want to shift the Docker file into untracking areas.
Sorry, how?
Docker file to untracking area.
Shiva, your voice is not clear, Shiva. Or else try to text in the chat.
Sir, you said that alphabet file has been changed from tracking area to untracking area. Is it possible for any other file?
No. That is not possible. Already, whatever you have committed, you can only revert the changes. Okay. But whatever changes you have not committed, that is
Means
possible.
we can change only the last file which has been changed from tracking to untracking.
You can only move the file which are not committed. Not last file or not first file, but the files which are not committed, you can move that files to the untracking area. And the reason why we have did this, because there are some changes still to be added. After that, again, end of the day, even I need to add and commit only. You don't have any other option, right? So only to add my changes, I am again moving this back to the untracking area. That's it.
Means git reset cannot be possible if the commit has been happened.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now, in that case, Shiva, what we can do is we should go for git revert command. Okay. So now we have, for example, not everything will be written from our end only, right? I mean, I want to search for, I mean, we have the requirement and I want to check if we have any Terraform directories or repositories which are available. So there is a very huge community, guys. If you want any repository or if you want some help or some kind of sample code, for example, you can search here hello world, for example, hello world, and here you can see search all of GitHub. Means it will check for all the accounts which are available on the GitHub repository which are public across the globe. If I'll click here, then you can see phone gap start. I mean, there are a lot of sample codes or hello world code or any sample examples, guys. This will help you to understand more. Or else what you can do is GitHub. For example, let me try to use GitHub only. GitHub, or else git cheat command. For example, I want to search for any cheat command sheet which will help me with all the basics. See, here we can see git basics cheat sheet. If I'll click here, this is some repository related to this user, and here we can see some commands and all, commit, branch, clone, fork and all. See, so this is how we can search for different user accounts as well. Okay, now what I can see here is this is someone else account. Now I want to add some changes to this account. Is that possible? I'm not the owner. Owner is this guy.
It might depend. If she gave you access, then might be you can.
Yeah. For example, let me see this. Okay, so here we have one file called readme.markdown. Okay, so readme.md or readme.markdown. So this file will help you to understand, I mean, what is available in this project, what is available, what is the agenda of this particular directory or repository. Okay, and here you can see 3 different contributors. Means these 3 guys have committed to this repository. Okay, so for example, you want to add some changes. So if I'm trying to click it, okay, clone, see what is happening for this repository. Means we cannot directly make any changes to anyone, I mean someone else account. That is not possible. This is only possible if we add us to the contributors. Means different users. How to add, that part we'll see tomorrow. Okay, but understand one thing, that whenever you want to add anything to the other repository, that is not possible. In that case, what you can do, I think this is very good. I want to have this in my account and I want to make some changes as well. In that case, what I can do, I can just use fork command. Here we can see something called fork, or else I can use this URL. I can clone in my local machine and then I can create one repository and I can push. That is possible. Or else if you want to add this to your GitHub repository, you can use the option called fork. If I'll click this fork, what will happen? It will create one more copy. Okay, if I'll click on fork, it will create the copy. See, Betavins is now the owner. Means we are trying to replicate this. See, forking from this particular user, and now this is my username and this is my directory, sorry, repository, and here I can see all the commands. Now if I want to make any changes, just click. Now since I am the owner, I can make any changes, and these changes will not be reflected to him. This is only to my account only. Okay, so this is how we can copy any code from one account to another account by using fork option. Okay, understood? Even you can go inside this Betavins, you can search for the user called Betavins. I have a lot of projects. If you want to fork anything in future or now, then you can also do this. See, DevOps nodes, Git basics, Hello World, Docker Hub, easy apply. And here you can see some repositories called private. Means you cannot even see these repositories. This is only for my account and the users who have given the access. You cannot make any changes or you cannot even try to fork this account. Okay, so this is how we can replicate. For example, now take a horizon 06. Okay, today's class has been done, right? Now what I want to do is I want to delete this project. How can we do that? I want to delete this. In my local, what I can do, I can just go. Where is my this one? Okay, this is my project. Click on delete, done, empty recycle bin, done. But whereas in central repository, so how to delete this? So go to settings, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Then you can see something called here. Delete this repository. If you want to change the public or private, we can do that one as well. Okay, delete this repository. Click here. I want to delete this, and it is asking me to unexpected bad things. Yes. Now it is asking me to confirm the same name. So let me copy this. Paste. Delete this repository. So what happened? This repository has been deleted. Okay, see, successfully deleted. Here you can see 91. If I'll refresh, the number will be 90 only. See, 90 means one repository has been deleted. So this is how we can add the changes, push the changes, and commit the changes and delete as well.
Sir,
Guys,
is it permanently deleted or is
that is
it acts
permanently
like a
deleted.
recycle bin?
No, that is
Okay.
permanently deleted. We don't have any copy. Even I don't have the copy in my local as well as central. Now we have lost our data. That's it. Guys, do you have any questions?
Hello. Yeah, hi
Yes.
Sabir. I have a
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
So what is the role of DevOps engineer here? So code will be written by the developer. He will push the
Right,
code.
right. So very, relevant question what he asked. So what will happen is, so we will be maintaining these repositories. Code will be stored by developer, but there will be some files. For example, if I'll open this repository, okay, here we have something called application.yaml. This is something what we will be writing. And here, if you'll open this development, here we have two more files. This is something what we will be writing. Okay, there are some files what we will be writing, and we want that files to be saved along with the source code. Means your application code. For example, let me open the actual source code. Here we have one app, Java simple customer app. If I'll open this, this is a Java related code, guys. So this is how you can see web content, build, and some directories. Okay, XML, build.xml, form.xml. So these directories or these files has been developed by developer. But if you see the Jenkins file, this is something what we have created for automation purpose. Okay, so this file has been developed by us for automation purpose, and this file should be added with the source code. Means without source code, this file is of no use for us. Okay, so there might be some situations where we might be adding some files to the repositories. In that case, you should be aware of these commands: how to push the code, how to add the changes, how to revert the changes. And also what will happen, you might be the owner for this account. Means to this particular project, you might be the owner. So developers, if they want access, then they might request access to you, and you will be providing the access. And you are the one who will be maintaining this project. Okay, so when we get, when we go on the Jenkins or some other tools, right, then we'll understand what is the actual use of these projects or this code and what we are trying to save over there. Okay. But as he said, right, out of 100, we will be using this 20 to 30% only. This is only used at the point of deployments or when we are trying to add some automation scripts to our code. That's it. But in interview, they will not expect you to just know the basics, right? So they will be expecting that you know all the commands of Git and GitHub. So guys, any questions? Okay, if no, then let me stop this recording.